ClickAndChat Chat Software High Overview. The purpose of this video is to focus on the main areas that will be utilized the majority of the time. When you first log into the chat software, this is the default view. So the first area we're going to take a look at is going to be the My Status area over here. This area does control the online, offline chat icon on your website. By default, online is selected, so in turn it will show online on your website. And it'll appear such as this here. So it'll show online here. When you select away, be right back, or busy, or exit the application, the chat icon then will show offline. As long as one person is logged in to the chat software and online, your chat icon will remain online. So it's really important to remember that when you walk away from your computer to select any of these modes here or exit the application to remove the chat icon from being online. Current visitors is also selected by default, and it's referencing this area here and more specifically this window. By default, the system will categorize website visitors by new visitors and returning visitors. To go through what these columns mean, this number or this column here will show how many website visitors have been received for the day. Visit number shows you how many times a website visitor has been to your website. So new visitors will always show 1, returning visitors will always show 2+. DNS is information that's supplied by the ISP provider from that website visitor. There's quite a bit of different pieces of information that's available. So for example, it will show where the people are from, which search engines they use to find your website, and oftentimes the keywords as well. It will also show previous contact information if a chat was initiated. So for example here, this will show the email address. Now this information is all provided in real time, regardless if they start a chat or not, and you will be able to identify trend patterns and behaviors as well. You will be able to see that through the on-page area here. This does update in real time as they move through the interior pages on your website. Views shows how many pages have actually been reviewed. Start time is the time that they came onto your website. Last time is last time an action was made. Browser types, operating systems, and again location. These icons over here signify their status of the website visitor. So for example, red means that they're inactive, although it means that they could potentially still be on your site. Green means that they're active and a new visitor. Blue means that they're active and a returning visitor. Now show details is also turned on by default. If I turn this off, you can see it removes a lot of that additional relevant information, so it is recommended to keep that on. In conjunction with the show details, the view visit detail is not turned on by default, so I do recommend to go ahead and turn that on, because what it does is it takes all this information here and puts it into more list and organized view over here. You also get some additional resources as well. You can quickly click on each person here and you'll see how this updates and changes for each additional person. You will be able to see all previous visits if there were any, previous chats if there was previous chats, and you can reference them just by double clicking and opening this up so you can see what was previously discussed. Callbacks, if there was any callback requests, that would be listed here. GUIP location coincides with their location of the website visitor. Contact, if there was previous contact information supplied during a chat, it would be listed here. You can also supply notes in regards to the website visitor and select update contact, and it'll retain that information here. The most important areas in the visit details is going to be this area here and the co-browse. This does supply you with a list of all the pages that have been reviewed, and that's a quick way to identify if there's any trend patterns. Co-browse allows you to see exactly what the website visitor is looking at. Now if you want to proactively engage a website visitor, there's a send invite tool up here that will allow you to ask if they have any questions. There's two different ways you can reach out to someone. One, you can select send invite, and that'll send out a standardized graphic that is interchangeable, and it will appear like this on your site, such as this here. There's another one that is a little more recommended to utilize, which is going to be the send text invite. The reason being is because it allows for you to write custom text based upon what that website visitor is doing. So when you send that over, it's going to populate on the screen similar to the other one. However, it's going to contain that custom text, such as this here. Now, for someone to initiate a chat off of your website, there's several ways they can do that. They can select any of these floating graphics. They can also select any of the stationary chat icons, and they all link to your chat window. And it will populate, such as this on the website visitor side. And this is similar to what the website visitor will see. You can upload your company logo here. This is interchangeable in here as well. It is customized within the chat software. So somebody will supply their information here and then start a chat. You'll be notified of a chat via a pop-up box and also a sound notification. And you do not need to be in the chat software in order to be notified of a chat. So in order to answer a chat, there's 4 different ways to do so. You can select this blue box down here. By default, that will disappear. You can double click it down here in the tray. You can right click it and start chat, or you can select start chat up here as well. Down here in this chatting visitors tray, it will show you all chats that are currently in either active or pending to be answered. You will be able to see the person's name, the domain it came in from. So if you have multiple domains monitored, they'll be listed over here on under the monitored sites. Waited for is how long they waited for the chat was answered. Who they're talking to, so that would show the person's name who actually grabbed the chat. Language by default is English. Translation is available for 14 different languages. If somebody was to initiate a chat and say Spanish, there'd be a check mark here, and to the right it would say Spanish. And the way it works is that you would type in English, it would translate to Spanish on the fly, and then the person on the website visitor side would type in Spanish and it would translate right back to English. Departments, if you guys set up departmental routing, it would be listed here. Monitor by will show anybody that is monitoring a chat to provide additional assistance. And required skills is a special field to be able to route chats internally based upon a skill set. Now to show you what the internal chat window looks like, it's going to appear such as this here. This is pre-populated text that is interchangeable. So all you have to do is hit enter or send, and then you go into your standard chat methodology. Visit details is available inside of the chat window. It's the same information is out in the main window there. You have all the same resources. You can reference previous chats here as well, and you can open them up. You can block out a visitor if they're being rude and or malicious. You can send links from this field here. If you place any link in here and then select send, it'll send a link over. So to demonstrate what that looks like, you can select send link. You also have the ability to manually type a link or copy and paste a link, and it'll ask if you want to send as a link, and you can hit yes. Pre-chat surveys information collected prior to the chat starting, so you can verify and confirm that that information is indeed correct. Transfer chat, you'll have the ability to transfer chats amongst each other. You can request to have your chat monitored by selecting this button here. You can reassign the chat based upon a skill set. Tools allows you to send information across the chat window, similar to that of email. This is a little bit faster way, and removes an action step from being able to have to collect an email address and then send information over. If you want to send something across the chat window, all you would do is select upload file. After it uploads, you can select that file that you want to send. And if it is something that requires an action on the website visitor side, you can select request file and they'll be able to send it right back to you. Any chat that takes place, you can select Start Publish here, and I'll publish it to a common knowledge base. Callbacks, in the event that somebody does request for a callback, you can start that process by selecting Start Call here. In order to terminate the chat properly, you would need to hit Exit Chat and Close. If you need to place the chat back into the chat queue, you would hit Exit Chat, and as you can see, it places it back down here. If you do come across that accidentally by selecting Exit Chat, when you indeed need to terminate that, just open it back up, select Exit Chat and Close, and it'll terminate by removing it from down here. Under the Options tab, you'll have several choices on how to customize the application behavior. So under the General tab here, you'll be able to see your login information. Options allows you to tailor, again, the application behavior here. Message text, this will allow you to change the opening text when taking a chat. Pop-ups, this is an area where you'll be able to make any changes based upon different types of alerts. Spell check is not turned on by default, so it is recommended to turn that on. And if you have CRM integration, this is where you'll be able to do that here, as well as if you need some proxy settings implemented as well. The last two pieces for additional resources. Everything in the application is labeled out as to exactly what it does. If you put your cursor over any of these different tabs, it does populate as to what these things are. You also have a blue question mark, a blue book with a question mark. That is the entire user's guide and manual here. This area will provide you with screenshots and literature, such as like changing your status here. You also have the ability to select the index to go through some of these different pieces here, and you can also select search to search for something specifically. And that concludes the high overview for the ClickAndChat chat software.